I'm Ricky.
And I'm Brendan.
Together we're ETFW.
And tonight we're here in Wakers Parkway near Narrabeen.
Wakers Parkway, believe it or not, is one of the most dangerous roads in the world, Sydney and New South Wales.
Okay, yeah.
I fucked up.
I was waiting for you to say fatal, like fatal cut.
Yo! No, I don't like the yo.
Oh!
Chicken down. One. Okay, well, something that's, I guess, fuck.
Do you want me to do it?
I don't know why I can't get it. Let me give it one more try if I can't get it. Alright, 3, 2.
Until 1997.
Come on, man. I can remember your notes, man.
I'm fine.
You can't remember shit, man.
I can't speak because I suck ass. It is historic. Alright, let's go. I don't know.
I just imagine some security guards sitting there just being like, these fucking idiots.
Say what
Fucking terrifying.
I know, yeah. He's really fucking. And I'm free.
Alright, ready? Right. So,
Today we're here at the Morrison Lunatic Asylum. For the criminally insane that threw me off.
me dead.
What was that?
I sexy again, I know it.
I want to make a massive thank you to our subscribers and viewers.
Come on.
Yeah, one more time from start to this very moment here. So I just really want to thank you guys for that. Now, for those of you who are new here, we want to thank.
Alright, let me.
Welcome back, guys. I'm Brendan. This is Ricky. Together we're ETFW, and this is the season 1 finale podcast of the Haunted series.
Now, guys, for everyone who has watched our videos, you might be wondering, where's the exploration? Where's the investigations today? As Brendan said, we did want to make a slightly different video today, going over the highlights and the recap of season 1, some of the scary moments, and I guess some of the moments that really changed our perspective on paranormal in general, and also take the chance to let you guys in, our viewers, on some of the plans and things we have lined up for 2020 of ETFW.
Now, we would like to take the time to thank our subscribers and viewers, and those of you who have commented, tuning in every single week, giving us the support that we have to be able to make these videos for you, coming along with these explorations and the investigations, and just having a fantastic time doing it. So we do really appreciate the support that you guys are giving us, and we really look forward to coming into season 2 and giving the same good stuff. So
Definitely.
That being said, let's get into it.
Let's jump into it.
Let's do it.
Cool.
So Waco's Parkway was a bit of an interesting one for us, mainly in particular because it was the first time that we had done this before. We were going in quite skeptical of it all. We weren't really expecting anything to come from it. We did a bit of research on it. We thought it'd be an interesting video. It presented new challenges for us as well with, nighttime filming and stuff like that, which we'd never done. But as a whole, it was a very interesting experience, especially the dowsing rods, especially for me, because it was the first time that I had experienced that. And it was just a really overwhelming experience. I just wasn't expecting anything like that to happen.
I guess the night was pretty interesting because, as Brendan said, we never dabbled in anything paranormal before. This was literally the video that you see. This was the first time we ever touched a pair of dowsing rods. This was the first time we ever tried to contact or speak to anything of another realm, dimension, or anything what you'd call it. But it was an eye-opening night for us, and I think definitely a bit of an experience that we'll remember for a long time.
Yeah, definitely. And to touch on, it did present new challenges with filming. We had never filmed at night before. Exactly. So, with that intro, with our B-rolls and stuff like that, we were struggling just because there wasn't a lot of natural light there. We were trying to use the street lights, which were turning off on us, and they kept having people pulling into the car park that we were at. So it kept presenting new challenges like that.
Yeah.
And just from there, it kind of led on to us. We need to get these intros done.
Gave us a starting point.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and then the drive itself was pretty creepy, but nothing really happened from that. Let's
jump into the intro real quick. So obviously the B-roll, as you guys can see, was pretty basic, I guess you'd say. Our lighting was pretty horrible. We were working with what we had. We hadn't filmed or touched cameras in over a year and a half.
Yeah.
So this tonight was literally the first time we touched a video camera in over a year and a half, and we were so rusty. And as you can see, the B-roll was all slightly whacked and funny.
Yeah. That intro was definitely one of the more challenging intros that we did throughout this season. You know, like I said before, all the lights kept going out. We were really struggling to find a location that we could get lights, and the only place that we could there was like one light in the whole area.
Yeah.
It was just a swarm of insects and moths and mosquitoes around it. So
I think there's a clip where like a moth is literally flying into my head the whole time, and I'm like trying to keep a straight face and talk through it. It was so funny. As well with that, we were trying to film this intro for like an hour.
Yeah.
People kept pulling in, people kept fishing. It was like, and we were both, this is the first video we ever made, so we were quite nervous.
Yeah.
I guess you say, to be in front of the camera and have people watch us. So we hadn't built up that confidence yet to film in public. So this took us so long to get through, but eventually we nailed it. Eventually we got something that was editable. And yeah, then we kicked off the night into the first drive.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and that first drive was a relatively interesting drive. It was very uneventful.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah, it was a creepy street, but I think it was just primarily just because it was really dark and we kind of knew a bit about what had happened there and we read a bit on it. So, I mean, for us, we didn't really experience anything, but people have reported going down there and things have happened. So,
I think the real highlight for Waco's Parkway was Deep Creek Reserve. I guess you'd agree.
Yeah, definitely.
That was, I think, Deep Creek Reserve. I think is always going to have a bit of a, I guess, a soft spot in our hearts because it was the first place that we ever communicated with something, or Brendan communicated with something. And as you guys will see in the footage in a second, I think that was definitely the moment in our, I guess, YouTube career where we realized, hey, like, this stuff's real and there's stuff out there and we want to actually, I think gave us the motivation to go, we want to go explore and we want to find out more about, about the paranormal in general.
Yeah.
So the clip here you're about to see is we've just basically pulled up to the Deep Creek Reserve. We've set up, I don't know why, but we thought it was a good idea to bring the arrow.
Well, I didn't originally know that you were bringing an arrow at first.
Yeah.
I mentioned to you that there's like someone had died there from a bow and arrow.
I don't know, like I guess it was after that we realized our approach was wrong.
Yeah, well, I don't think it was just that either as well, because when you did the dowsing rod, you didn't get any.
I didn't get anything.
Whatsoever, but at the same time, you were the one that stabbed the arrow into the ground.
Yeah.
And then when I did it, I was being a bit more polite. I was saying, please, thank you, all those kind of things.
I think it opened our eyes to maybe, like, speculate on the fact that maybe these spirits have feelings.
Yeah. But they are still people. They're usually lost souls in that case. And that kind of what opened us to more how we approach things like that, especially when we bring gifts like
the newspaper.
Yeah, stuff like that, which you'll see later in a bit. Yeah, we try to bring gifts and try and ease their passings now. Yeah.
So the first clip you'll see here is me trying the dowsing rods. Again, I don't get anything. I'm freaking out at this point as well, by the way, guys. Like, I'm Brendan as well, but where, like, the amount of noises and things that we were hearing in this little section of Deep Creek Reserve, like things falling off trees, things splashing in the water, random, like, twigs and stuff cracking, and like, you can see my face. I'm so focused on the dowsing rods. I'm just trying to block out any other noise around me. Yeah. I was actually, like, shitting myself at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, we try this. I get no luck. And then basically Brendan picks it up and he gives the dowsing rods a go. And I guess that's when your kind of eventful events happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, when I did it, because I saw nothing happen for you, so instantly I was assuming, nothing's going to happen for me. I'll give it a go, but I'm not expecting anything to happen. And then when something did happen, and like just it felt like a force was there with me pushing on the rods. Like, it was a incredible experience.
It was so weird for me to watch it because I'd never, like, obviously we both never experienced dowsing rods before. We'd only seen on YouTube.
Yeah.
And for me to physically see them moving, I was just like, my mind was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, well, it also opened my eyes a bit as well, because when I've seen these kind of videos, I've always thought that they were fake. And then in this video where you'll see my hands are completely static, I'm just holding it.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to stay as still as possible. And then when they started moving, I was just like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
Like, this is insane. I'm not actually doing this. So it was a really creepy feeling. On top of that, you start getting cold. And you, like I said before, you can feel something there's with you.
Yeah. Waco's Parkway and specifically Deep Creek Reserve was, definitely a, awesome experience for us. And something that we're definitely going to go back to in the near future
Yeah,
and
I think
investigate again.
We'll definitely go back to that place again, especially with the added equipment that we have. Maybe try a
Definitely.
bit of a Ouija board there, maybe.
Never know.
You know, there are a couple of spots around there, in particular, where bodies were dumped.
Well, people
unfortunately.
have reached out to us. We've had a
Yeah.
few viewers that have actually reached out to us and gave us a little bit more insight. Locals actually who live around the area of Deep Creek Reserve, and they've told us on a few other spots there where they've encountered, experiences or phenomenons or something like that. So yeah, we've got a little bit of a bucket list and a few shots to go back there.
Yeah.
And definitely we're going to hit that back up in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, Wacos Parkway dash Deep Creek Reserve was definitely a fun video and
Yeah, it was an awesome video.
definitely
Really.
a cool way to kick off, ETFW.
Yeah, it was a really went in strong kind of thing, which is really it was just awesome experience. And it was from this video actually that one of our viewers contacted us saying, "Hey, I've got some dowsing rods, handmade dowsing rods that she makes." And
Amanda.
yeah, really awesome of a really
Link will be in the description if
Yeah.
you guys want to get a pair of the dowsing
fantastic person. She said, "Look, I'd love to be able to send out some dowsing rods to you guys. You can use them, whatever." She didn't say to promote her or whatever, but we want to
Yeah.
it was just kind of her to send us some rods, and these are the ones that we
was
use
like
here.
really that was really cool to see the community already just from one video.
Yeah, straight
see the
away,
support. Like it was awesome. That for us made us be like, wow, like, this is
Yeah,
pretty
it was
cool.
it was a massive boost of I guess confidence that you could say that went to us, because I mean when you do these kind of videos, especially when you start out, you don't really have any goals. You're just kind of going around trying to make.
I don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
People are gonna like it, hate it,
That's right.
ridicule you.
We weren't expecting anything to happen, and then just straight off the bat, it was absolutely awesome.
So I guess we tick off Wacos Parkway.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Wacos Parkway, guys, anyone wants to check it out, definitely go there, suss it out, an awesome spot. You might experience something creepy that we didn't. But with that said, off to the second video.
Let's do it.
Boom. Alrighty guys, so Garawara Center, or otherwise known as the Helensburgh Hospital. This was a pretty cool video. I really enjoyed this video, to be honest. I thought this was like a lot of fun. We got to film during the day and night. It was a long day for us.
Yeah.
But it was really rewarding. I guess, we got to explore some really cool spots. And I'd actually been previously to Garawara Center a few years back before going here with Brendan. And I'd had some creepy experiences there before, and I'd always wanted to return. And it was really fun, returning with all our equipment and exploring the cemetery and the hospital itself at night. So the clips you pretty much see at the start, we were walking for probably about 40-45 minutes before we actually started filming.
Yeah, it was a while.
Yeah, trying to actually find the cemetery, and we went like through all different tracks and trails, and man, it took us a while to find it.
Yeah, because to find it at first, we just found a simple fire trail that was there. You can see a trail that was cut into there, and we just parked up, went for a walk in, just kind of wandered around, just trying to find it. We were using Google Maps to try and locate the place that we just couldn't see. So
Yeah.
and then obviously, when we were walking, we were kind of drawn to this location. We were like, I think Ricky mentioned in the videos, like, I reckon it, or not in the video, but before, and he's like, I reckon it's down there. So we walked in.
Such a small, like, little cutout. We thought it was there, but we were like, it's so dense. Who knows? Like,
yeah. And then rather than having to hoof around all the equipment that we had, I said to Rick, look, I'll have a bit of a scout. I'll walk around. You just sit here. I'll be back in a minute. And then, I just kind of split off and just went for a bit of walk. And it actually turned out that we were only about 20, 25 meters away from it. The bush was that thick that we actually couldn't see it. It was really creepy finding it, because I'm just walking through the bush and then all of a sudden I see these graves and headstones and I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
I personally think the cemetery was, I reckon, one of the coolest places we went to. Or
awesome.
not coolest, I guess, but you know what I mean. Like it was.
Yeah, it was like you mentioned in the video. It's a time capsule and it's untouched.
It was so awesome there.
Yeah, it's been left for so long, and it's just completely untouched. It's a place that they don't do restorations there and stuff like that. It's just
Well, it was like nature was complete. It was like one of those things where it was abandoned, but nature had almost completely like taken over that site.
Yeah.
It was a cool, like, abandoned spot that, it's just interesting to see that if, humans left Earth, you know what I mean? Like, that's what nature would just eventually take over and everything would become bush again. So that was, I think, for me, a really cool spot to explore, because it was just, it was interesting to see how overgrown and everything, and how little there was left of what was once a cemetery. So as you guys can see here, this is where we first start talking about the cemetery. I said like a lot in this clip.
Yeah.
What people don't understand is, fuck, we were out of breath. Like we were tracking through the bush.
Yeah, it was all uphill and stuff like that.
The terrain there, even though it looks pretty flat, I mean, the walk there is all uphill, and then we were walking through the bush, walking on sand and rocks, and then we're, like, you can't see it in the video, but we were literally squatted down to our knees walking through the bush. That's how you have no clearance.
Yeah.
And you don't know if there's spiders or webs. You're just walking through bush. Shit's hitting your face. And we got to the cemetery, and basically Brendan starts filming right as we got there. And I'm like out of breath. And I was not thinking what to say at all. This was all just freeboard. So
that's a lot of our filming is freeballing. We don't like to pre-script things too much. We want it to be the first time that we see something, because you guys are coming along with us, and having the camera with us, it makes it feel like we have another person with us. It makes it feel like you guys are there with us. So we try and experience it in the moment with you guys, so you get to experience it at the same time with us.
What you're seeing is what
we're saying to you. So straight away, I didn't really think of it. I'm just like, just give me the camera. Let's go. Like, just wanted to get into it. And this is a place like this. It really opens your eyes to the preservation of it. You really need to be careful, because a lot of the places that we go to have been trashed over the years and just vandalized and stuff like that. Yeah. So with this, we were being really careful to be very respectful. And when you go to places like this, old places like this, you need to be incredibly careful.
Preserve it.
Yeah, it's a bit of history. Actually, it turns out as well, I only just recently found out as well, my dad told me, is I actually had relatives buried here.
No way.
Yeah, they died in the hospital. I was like, what?
But with the preservation of these sites, it's not just for the sake of preserving, but for fellow explorers, other people who want to go and explore these places. I mean, a lot of these places are, have security and are blocked off and are fenced off, because people go and vandalize and abuse and destroy and wreck these places. And I guess if, as an exploration community, respect these places, then it gives everyone the chance to, go and, see sites like this that maybe one day might vanish and disappear and never be there again.
And you completely understand when places do put up security. A, it's for the safety of people, because people are just being silly.
Yeah.
Or B, it's to preserve, it's to save the places as well. You see, you completely understand. You can't get angry at security guys. They're just doing their jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's good that they are being active to try and preserve it, to fight to preserve it, which is really good. So that's what I'm saying. You just respect the places that you go to, and just be really cautious and considerate of it. These are either places that horrible things have happened, or places where people have been
historic.
Buried. Yeah, they're historic. Yeah. They're part of our country's history. We're a young country, and it's part of our history. So it's definitely something that we need to preserve.
You definitely see the quality, I think, of the videos start to step up here. I think we definitely got a lot more comfortable with filming.
That's right.
The B-roll was was way better quality. I think this is one of my favorite videos, I think, of the season. I really enjoy this episode. I've watched it, obviously, when I edited it, I've watched it 100 times, but I still re-watch it, and I still actually enjoy watching this episode. This will definitely be one of my favorites.
It's funny you say that it's your favorite. It's definitely one of the most cinematic, most beautiful, most colourful one, but I hated it so much.
Did you?
The reason I hated it is because of the dowsing session. So when I was filming it,
and
when I was filming it and I was watching and I'm seeing everything's in focus.
In defense of this, I will say we did have a couple of weird things happen. I'll get on it in a second.
Because when I was filming it, I was doing manual focus. I was making sure that the rods themselves were in focus. Because during the last episode, we could see that the rods are slightly a bit out of focus. We wanted to keep the rods in focus themselves, just so you guys would be able to see it a lot more clearer. And I was being so careful to make sure it was in. I was so happy with it. Everything that I saw, it was in focus.
Yeah.
And then when Ricky calls me, I get home, Ricky calls me and goes, man, it's all out of focus. I'm like, no, it's not.
It wasn't that bad, but...
it just upset me so much because I was being so
I will say, in the defense of that, like, we were having weird things with the camera that day, because there's an entire, maybe 5-10 minute clip of Brendan walking around, and I think
dowsing rods during that time as well.
There's a clip of Brendan trying the dowsing rods that I just don't have. That it's not on the memory card. It's not there. I don't know where it went. I definitely recorded it.
Yeah, and something. It wasn't just useless dowsing rod footage. Actually, something happened from the
Yeah,
dowsing
it's
rods,
good. It was good footage.
and it just disappeared. So,
So yeah, I don't know. Like you know, I will say in the defense of that, yeah, there was, who knows? I mean, was it something to do with, you know, paranormal energy or something, or was it just, you know, our negligence in filming? Who knows? But yeah, there were definitely flaws in the footage.
yeah, and I think that's something that we kind of experience more often going on with, you know, batteries dying and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
You do get a lot of weird things happen that you can't really explain yourself, and
Yeah.
that was just obviously the very first one that we encountered.
Onto the dowsing rod session. This is obviously my first time having the dowsing rods work. Obviously, back at Wakehurst Parkway, they didn't really work for me. I don't think I got anything.
No, you didn't.
I didn't get anything, and this here was the first time that it worked for me. And this as well, I think, was one of our better sessions, because it was the first time that I guess we changed our approach. We learned from Wakehurst Parkway, and we learned that maybe spirits do have feelings and emotions. So that's why we brought the newspaper as a gift, and we tried to, you know, obviously change our approach from, you know, I brought an arrow the first time to bringing a gift. And I think respecting the spirits of the place really is what gave us a better experience overall.
That's right. Yeah, you'll also get a different encounter with the spirits as well. I think, you know, doing that, going with a positive feeling of
Good
positive
intentions.
emotions. Yeah, good intentions. You're most likely gonna get positive feedback.
Yeah.
Positive feelings back towards us. And this was obviously the biggest one because, you know, it wasn't hostile, it wasn't rude, it was very polite with you. You were polite back.
Yeah. Answered a lot of my questions too, I think.
Yeah,
Answered
it's
a fair
pretty
bit.
much all of them, and it was very, very clear with it.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you do dowsing sessions, and you'll watch us throughout the episodes, and the rods don't really move; they move a little bit. We ask the question
Hesitant
again.
almost.
We've found that it's more so that they're hesitant, especially with your intentions as well, with how you speak, all those kind of
Yeah.
things. They are a bit nervous, and it's usually about around the locations of like asking where you are,
Exactly.
asking are they friendly or not, those kind of things. They do get a little bit cautious with answering those questions. Some are very quick to answer.
Yeah.
Some are a little bit more
Reserved.
Yeah. That's right.
But this spirit here that we spoke to today, we asked the question if it was the spirit of that unmarked grave itself, and it did answer. And yeah, we had an amazing session here. And again, the feelings I had. Let's just skip forward a little bit. So the feelings I had were, it was weird. Like it literally felt almost like magnets, almost like
Yeah.
the energy going through the rods. I mean, if I guess if you haven't used dowsing rods before or experienced them, I guess the way for me to describe it is it's literally like something is holding the rods and moving
And actually,
them.
how you're doing that hand movement is actually 100% correct.
Yeah.
Because when they feel it, it's not like it's being pushed like this. It
No.
feels like something is holding onto it.
It feels like
there is
there's
a force.
weight on the entire rod.
Yeah, there's a force that's holding onto it, and
Yeah.
that's why a lot of the times you'll see the rods start vibrating as well.
Yeah,
when
and
we do it.
bouncing.
Yeah, it's and we hold them really, really tight, especially with these ones.
Yeah,
we
the
hold
new
them
ones, yeah.
incredibly tight, and
Yeah.
it just feels like something's holding onto it and moving them with us.
And as well with the rods, I mean, the weird thing is with them is we usually we add this in our videos down the track, but before we start asking questions, we just hold them straight.
Yeah.
And there's zero movement in them. They don't start crossing or doing anything weird.
Yeah.
They just sit there. And the moment we start asking questions is when they start moving. And I mean, if I was asking them to move left and they were going right, or if they were doing weird things, I'd be like a bit skeptical on them. But the fact is that I ask them to go left, Brendan asks them to go right or something, and they do what, basically
it
99% of the time
It
it
answers
answers.
to exactly the questions that you give it, and they're
Yeah.
usually complicated questions. We like to do the complicated questions just
Yeah,
because.
we got better as we went with.
Yeah, here's the part where it just goes out of focus. Oh, it
Yeah.
hurts to watch. We ask complicated questions. We do get a lot of people saying, "Oh, you shouldn't ask so many complicated questions." But we ask complicated questions because they are relatively simple to the questions. It's maybe move the right rod to the right and keep the left rod straight.
I think we ask them as well to show people that, like, hey, we're not fucking moving
Yeah,
the rods
we're not
here.
we're not doing it because it's obvious when you do move it yourself, especially with these ones, because if you were to tilt your hand like this, A, it comes up on camera because we try and keep it as clear as possible, but B, the rod will just swing straight out.
Yeah.
A lot of the times when they move, they'll go and then just all of a sudden stop.
Yeah.
As if something's just stopped.
Well, like, I'll show you, for example, like, these are, the dowsing rods that we use now, and they're oiled, they free spin, and if I was to move it, or if I was to tap it, like, it just spins. See that? It just spins freely. That was just from one tap. Look at that. It's just spinning.
Whereas
now,
what we're getting is, you keep holding it.
Yeah.
Whereas what we're getting, it's as if something is holding onto the rod and moving it and then holding it there. Because if I let go, it swings back to the middle, back to its point where it was.
So if I was moving this myself and tried to tilt it there, see that? It doesn't, the momentum's gonna swing back.
Yeah.
So when we're communicating with something, it's moving it and stopping it at a point. It's not carrying the momentum, which is weird.
Yeah.
So again, dowsing rods are, for us, our best tool that we've
that's our go-to. It's so consistent.
Alrighty, guys. So the next clips you're basically going to see is us returning to the Garawara hospital at night time. Pretty creepy experience. Again, we didn't go into the hospital just to share a little bit of light on it. We did run into security during the daytime there. That's why we did return at night. But we really did just want to show you guys the hospital, but we obviously didn't want to push the boundaries of the exploration.
Yeah, I mean, like we do take into consideration these places. We don't like to go inside the places because that is why they put securities in. We're very respectful of the places, trying not to damage or vandalize anything.
Yeah.
That's why they put the security guards there. So I mean, for what they're doing, they're also trying to preserve it, which is we like that they're trying to preserve it and keep it safe. And on top of that, it is quite dangerous to go in because there is asbestos in there too as well, which is very dangerous.
Didn't have masks or anything, and I mean, yes, there are videos of people going in, but I mean, we kind of we want to do this for many years to come, and we don't want to risk anything.
Yeah, I value my life, so
yeah. But anyways, the going into the night, we do a dowsing rod session there. We had a pretty good session. Wasn't as strong as what we had in the cemetery. I think the feeling that we got was that the spirit that we were communicating to was inside the hospital and almost communicating to us from a distance. It basically, from what we speculate on, wanted us to come inside the hospital. And again, with that, I mean, it's kind of creepy because we've speculated on the thought that spirits could lure you, or you don't know what you're talking to, or
they're not always friendly.
You don't know what you're talking to when
That's
it comes to, I guess, the paranormal. You could be speaking to something safe, dangerous. You just really don't know.
Yeah.
So obviously, we didn't go into the hospital that night. We may return one time in the future and go inside and check it out. But yeah, so the dowsing rod session was good. We got a nice reaction there, but definitely not one of our, not one of our highlight dowsing rod sessions, but was pretty cool and was a creepy experience.
It was mainly the dowsing session here wasn't really to do a dowsing session. It was mainly just to show you guys the outside of the place and just to show that it is still there and just the fences.
I think as well to kill my curiosity, because I've been wanting to return to this place since I'd first ever been.
I'd never been there before either, so
returning with dowsing rods and with kind of a new exposure to the paranormal side of the world, I guess I was very interested to see if I could communicate to something there, because like I said, I'd been there years prior, and that was without really, I guess, being much of a believer or knowing that much about paranormal stuff. And going back with this newfound interest, I'd really wanted to see if I could communicate to something. And we got to. But with that said, Garawara Hospital, the cemetery, awesome spot if you get the chance to check it out. Again, people are fighting to preserve the cemetery, so just be careful if you go there. Don't vandalize or anything like that, like we've said before. And with the hospital, respect the boundaries. If you go in, that's on you. We don't encourage it, but if you do, go for it. We're not saying not to or don't, but just be careful if you do.
Yeah.
Anyways, on to the next episode. Let's do it.
Dartmouth Creek was a bit of an interesting one. This one, we did a lot of research on it. There wasn't a massive amount of information, and from what we were aware of, we could go in there. It wasn't private property. You were allowed to go in there as long as you as long as you didn't go inside the actual buildings itself. So we went in thinking it was fine being there. There was car parks. There was a lot of people around. We saw people walking in and out from there. So we were
No
like,
signage?
yeah, and we were there for a long time before we saw anyone. And the grounds there are absolutely amazing. They're pristine. They've been really looked after. I believe it's a heritage site now, so they have been looked after.
Yeah.
A lot of creepy feelings, especially in that tower while we were walking around. It was a really creepy place.
That tower was so weird.
Yeah, and
we'll touch on it in a second.
yeah, and the entire time we were walking around, because I say it a lot off camera, but I'm like, I feel like we're being watched right now.
You get a lot of those feelings.
Yeah, I was just saying, I feel like we're being watched. I feel like there's not someone's with us, but I feel someone's watching us from a distance. And we walked the entire grounds and saw pretty much no one. We do experiment a bit with the intros as well in this part as well. Intros for this take a long time, as you see in the bloopers at the beginning.
Well, I think as well we accumulated so much information.
Yeah, because there was a lot of information. This was Australia's.
There was a lot of history on the place. Yeah,
so
news reportings, news clippings, other people doing investigations and reportings there, and
that's right. Yeah,
there was a fair bit of information that we had written down. I think it was an overload. And you guys, as you see in the blooper, we mess up our intro so many times. And you know what? And we say it. Brendan says it. He's like, it'd be so funny if a security guard was watching us. I'm just so surprised that we were doing the intro for so long. We were there for 40 minutes?
Yeah.
30 minutes. Doesn't seem like it on camera, but we were there for a while. I'm just so surprised that we never got approached while we were there.
Yeah, and on top of that, you see a lot of people walking around there as well. So we weren't, as far as we were concerned, we were allowed to be in there.
There's no gates, no fences, nothing.
Yeah, turns out you're allowed to be there during the day, just not at night. That's what it is apparently.
Apparently, but
I did more research. That's what people have said on it. But while we were there, we didn't have any issues. And the security guard was really cool when we did end up bumping into him. And he's like, we originally thought that the area that we went to, because we went to some of the newer buildings up there, we originally thought that we weren't allowed to be in those newer areas.
Exactly.
So that's why we ended up coming back in, because we originally assumed that you're not allowed to go in those newer areas. We're like, all right, well, we'll just stick to the older areas over here.
Yeah.
And when we went back, we still saw people going in and out. So we're like, cool.
It's quite close to the car park.
That's right. Yeah. So we're like,
as well.
We'll go back in. We'll go to these areas that we assumed that we were able to go to.
Tower and all that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and unfortunately, we didn't actually end up being able to go to the beach. Which would have been really cool.
Yeah, because the security guard said that the beach was off limit too, and we saw so many people with fishing rods going down there.
Yeah.
We were like, what the fuck? Beach can't be off limits.
Yeah.
It's the beach.
And in this one, we actually had a gift because we brought soap as well for the spirits, because obviously that's where they wash themselves down at the beach. So it was the only access to washing themselves that they were able to have. So we did bring a gift. We just weren't able to present the gift, unfortunately, with that one.
Exactly.
But the dowsing session that we had here was an unreal one, because that was the first time when we actually decided to ask if it was an unfriendly spirit.
Yeah.
So the dowsing session here was actually a bit interesting, because it was the first time when we asked if a spirit was friendly or not, and it was the first time that we both did a session there on camera. Like, we actually had it in the episode. Obviously, we have before, but it either didn't work or it wasn't on camera. This is the first time where we had it in both. And
as well, the first session with the new rods.
That's right. Yeah. This is by the time that we had got them, and Ricky's session that he had wasn't super powerful, and it wasn't until then when I was recording and I'm looking to my left and I'm like, there's a broom here, and then there's broken stuff. I'm like, well, maybe I'll disturb this a bit and see if.
Touch on the story of the broom for people. I think we do slightly, but
yeah, we do. We talk about it like a person, because I think that I actually end up asking if they were a patient or if they were killed by a broom or something like that, and they. Like I said, this is where the first time we asked if it was friendly or not, and they said that they weren't friendly, and obviously me disturbing the broom, they weren't too happy about that. So
the broom, for anyone who might be wondering, there was a story that was recorded of a staff member being bludgeoned to death via a broom.
Yeah.
An inmate got hands on a broom and basically killed a staff member with that object. So that tower was quite weird that night. When we got there, we don't really show it on the camera just because we didn't really want YouTube to flag it or anything. We don't really know the rules of how that works. But there was a broken jar or bottle or something.
Yeah.
And in that jar and bottle was like pebbles or little rocks and the skeleton of a dead bird.
Yeah.
Was so weird. I mean, we when we first went up there, we were like, what the hell is that? I just thought it was broken glass. Then we had a look, and yeah, it was a skeleton of a dead bird stuffed inside of broken glass. It had been shattered, and like little beads or rocks or something in it. It was really, really weird. And then the broom there, and I mean, yes, it could just be someone left a broom, dead bird. What the fuck? Like none of us know what the hell that was.
Yeah, we were just like,
know.
cool. And you can actually see in some of this footage as well that even these buildings here, which are heritage listed site, there's graffiti on them as well still. So people also are coming here and vandalizing. So it makes sense why they have security there. But it's just an absolute shame when people feel like they have to come and just tag up the walls and stuff like that. It's just.
So we don't know if someone maybe previously there was trying to, do like a. Maybe like a summoning or something, or
sacrifice the bird
something satanic, or we don't know. We haven't really looked much into that,
we didn't see a pentagram anyway, so thank God for that.
Yeah, so it was pretty weird, but we decided to do the Dowsy Run session up there, and as well from the thumbnail, I don't know if people might think it's clickbaity or not, but the orbs or the eyes you see, that's you see it in the footage. That was there. I only noticed it when I was editing, I went back and I was watching, obviously, to edit the frames and the scenes, and that was when I noticed it. And I sent Brendan photos, and I was like, I never noticed this on the night, and we're like almost 3 stories up here.
Yeah.
Like, so behind us is just the sky, and you can see throughout the video it's pretty much just sky behind us. So it was pretty weird seeing those like orbs or eyes or whatever they faded out.
So we had trees surrounding us.
There was a tree, yeah, but like I think in that bit throughout that window was just sky.
Yeah, and it's just that appears and it just kind of stayed there. It's not like it kind of just like it moved or anything. It just kind of hung there and.
So who knows? I mean, I don't know what it. It could have been something else. It could have been anything, but it was kind of weird watching back the footage and seeing that.
Yeah,
I think it's just the bit where you pick up. Also, this is the bit where you actually put the broom down. You decide.
I decided because when you were like, all right, you give it a go, and I grab the broom and I just I move it and stuff like that, and I'm like, we'll give this a go and see if this prompts anything or this helps. And you can see me holding the rods straight and they're starting to vibrate. Usually when that happens, there's not vibrations from me moving or anything like that because we try and hold it real still. We can't explain the vibrations because when we're not communicating with anything, when we're just holding them still at the beginning, they're dead still. Yeah. And then after something happens, they start vibrating. So,
and these rods were awesome. Like I will say that this was the first set of Dowsy rods we bought. And I mean, you don't have to go buy an expensive set.
Yeah.
But I mean, we can definitely say that the experience is a lot better with a better set. Yeah. The first set of rods we bought were like $10, $15 pair of cheap little copper rods, just bent 90 degrees. And they work, but having these that are like free spinning, it's a way better experience.
Fantastic.
And again, the links will be down in the description to Amanda's shop if you do want to purchase the same set that we use. But yeah, the experience that we got with this Dowsy Run session was a lot better, a lot stronger.
Yeah, it was really great.
Cutting to the end of the scene, it was pretty funny. I wish we filmed a little bit more of it, to be honest. But
it was right as we were packing up. That's why I think that's why I stopped recording as well.
We were right. We packed up and we were basically going to head to the beach. That was basically going to be our last scene. We were going to go down to the beach and film there and call it a night. And picking up, we're both sort of talking how creepy that was. I'm putting stuff back in the bag and you hear this, "Hey, what are you doing up there?" And I've just looked at Brendan like, I'm like, fuck.
It's like, shit, what the hell was that?
Honestly, it was so, like, this guy was, what was he, like? He's like Ugandan or something.
I think they're from Uganda or something, like Nigerian or something. Like,
the accent was really so thick. We just heard this,
voice.
"What you doing up there?" And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, holy shit. I looked at Brendan like, whoa, what the fuck? And we headed down. Security he was a bit like, obviously a little bit frustrated, but he was, still pretty cool with us.
Yeah.
He was reasonable. We were honestly, we said that, like, and we had no idea. We even tried to say that there's no signage here. Like, we don't understand. Like, help us understand that we can't be here because for anything that we've seen, we're allowed to be here.
Yeah, we were allowed to be there. So we were pretty confused by that, but look, again, he's just doing his job.
Yeah.
One thing to touch on as well, this is the first time we actually started doing smudging sticks. So smudging sticks, we did a bit more research and turns out that, this is supposed to be able to protect you and help you. As you can see the stick right here, the burns on it and stuff. We use it now after every single session. It's supposed to cleanse you a bit, protect you, get ward off any spirits.
I guess whether it does or doesn't, I've always said to Brendan, I do feel slightly cheery after doing it, after smudging. And I've also read that apparently, I don't know if you know this, but apparently sage kills up to like 90-something% of bacteria or something in the air. But every time, and like we said, we don't know if it works, but hey, I mean,
it doesn't hurt.
I'd rather do something than nothing.
That's right. Yeah, it doesn't hurt to do it, so it's always good.
Every time we do it, I always feel slightly cheery afterwards.
I feel happy.
I feel like at least, hey, if I go home and something's followed me, then fuck, at least I tried to protect myself. But Tarpon Creek, awesome place.
Yeah, really cool place. They also do ghost tours there as well.
They do.
So if you guys do want to go there at night, you can book in with ghost tours. I don't know who does them.
Not sure.
But they do ghost tours there. So you can go through for tours and they'll give you the full breakdown on the history and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Sweet. On to the next episode.
Yeah, it's done.
Alrighty. Next episode, The Rocks. Not a particularly scary place to go to, I guess you'd say, in our day and age, kind of like we touched on in the intro, but is a place with a pretty rich history and something that we've wanted to check out for a little while just to see if it really is haunted, because there has been a lot of reports on the Rocks of being haunted and people seeing things, and it wasn't our radar because we've both worked in the city and Brendan still works in the city, and a place we've been to growing up in Sydney so many times that we thought the Rocks haunted. Like, come on, how could the Rocks be haunted? It's a cool little hip place in the city with bars, cafes, restaurants, and it was it turns out to be a pretty cool night. Like I had a lot of fun filming this episode.
Yeah, it was an awesome, really, really cool location to do it, just because there's so much history. There's a lot of good lighting there as well, really old buildings, all that kind of stuff. So it was really cool. We didn't actually explore all the areas around. We only did a couple of places. Unfortunately, my voice is a bit crook there because I was just starting to get sick. So my voice is absolutely shocking in it. But it was a really cool experience there. We would definitely love to come back and explore some of the more, other locations that are there. Some more interesting places. We have had people hit us up saying you should go to these locations and do some stuff there. But
the observatory there? Someone messaged us to go there.
Yeah. So all in all, though, it was a pretty cool location to go to.
It was also the night where let's skip forward to the Ouija board bit. So. We walked around for a fair while in the Rocks.
Yeah.
I think we were there till at least 2 a.m. almost.
Yeah, we were there for a long time.
We were there for a fair while. So I mean, we were walking around a heap, and a lot of it we obviously don't show in the video just because it's a bit repetitive. But EMF reading, and this was the first night we had the EMF reader. So that was a cool little introduction to the videos. And again, we touch on with the EMF reader. I mean, we did know, we did say we're in the middle of the city. Obviously, there's electromagnetic frequencies and stuff flying around, and it's going to pick up on stuff. But
saying that though, the place that the EMF reader spiked hard right at the beginning was actually the place that we got the best dowsing session.
Exactly.
So I mean, I can't really explain that, but it was a bit interesting. The one thing I will touch on, which I absolutely hate you for, because for so long I was saying I don't want to do a Ouija board.
Is this clip here?
You can see here. This one goes and gets a Ouija board without telling me.
Yeah. I might put some of the clips in because I actually have clips that no one's ever seen of when I purchased the Ouija board and I unboxed it at home. So I'll probably chuck in a couple of those little short clips and show you guys when I bought it. But so the Ouija board, Brendan had no idea I bought it. I just purchased it online. I got it brought in. I do a little video at home where I unbox it, which I'll probably link some of the clips in because no one's ever seen it before.
I haven't seen them.
You haven't seen it either. No one's seen it.
So you bought it without telling me.
So we bring the Ouija board, and the Ouija board is something that we both had spoken about previously.
Yeah.
Something we knew that we were gonna do eventually.
Yeah, it was something like even I was saying like I guess we're gonna have to do it eventually, but it was just something that I just wanted to put off for as long as possible because I didn't want to do it.
There's so many stories of it going wrong.
Yeah, and it made me feel very uncomfortable doing
I've seen posts on these paranormal groups where people discuss Ouija boards and scroll through the hundreds of comments and it's like, no, don't do it, bad things happen. And fuck, I mean, like, so many bad things happen. It's like there's a bit of curiosity there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
You know.
and yeah, I was kind of thrown in the deep end to do it. Thanks,
Yeah.
a lot for that. But look, it was interesting. We didn't get anything from it.
No.
You know, again, not really sure what to expect from that one. It was our first time doing it. Obviously, at the beginning, when we're moving the Ouija board, the planchette, you see that in the intro, and you see it while we're doing it. What we're actually doing is warming up the board.
Yeah.
So when we go to do it, we have researched a lot on it, like certain things that, you know, if the Ouija board does, you need to say goodbye straight away, and how to get it to work. And it does say you need to warm it up by moving the planchette around first before saying that you want to play.
There was a comment on one of our Facebook posts where someone was like, "Oh, they're clearly moving it," but again, like Brendan said, that's us.
Yeah, that's just us trying to warm it up, and obviously he only watched the intro, so that's why he thought that we were just trying to fake it, which we don't try. We try and keep everything as real as possible for you guys. So
we show all the clips.
That's right. Yeah, we don't try and hide anything. We just make it as genuine as possible, and that was us trying to warm it up. We flipped the planchette a bit just because there's material on it. We were wondering, we'll give it a bit of a go this way, a bit of a go that way. We're experimenting with it a bit to see, what would make it work.
We're both so disappointed it didn't work, to be honest. Man, I mean, you just hear so many things online about all these crazy experiences and nothing.
Yeah.
You know, definitely creepy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%.
Really creepy doing it because
being near it is creepy. Like, I can just sit in the corner of my eyes, little son smiling. I'm like,
you've heard of people being like possessed and having to do exorcisms and stuff after using these things. So there's got to be truth behind some of the stories out there. So definitely using it for the first time was a scary experience, and we've gone on to try it more times, even off camera. Yeah. We've met up and we've just tried to do it because maybe we've thought maybe the camera's halting the progression. So we've tried it off camera and had no luck with it, but we're definitely still going to continue with the Ouija board because, we don't want to 100% say it doesn't work, but we really want to get something on it.
Yeah, we'd love to get something on it for you. Yeah. But at that point, we just decided, look, we'll go back to the trusty dowsing rods. Yeah. They're tried and true. We know they work for us. But unfortunately, the place that we tried to do the Ouija board at, the dowsing rods didn't work there either. Now, usually, the Ouija board should work anywhere. People have said it works in their bedrooms and stuff like that. So it shouldn't be what the case is. Unfortunately, the dowsing rods didn't work there. So that's when we ended up deciding to relocate. We were about to call it a night and be like, man, this is a bust. Like, nothing really happened. It was going to be our first debunking one. And then, right at the last minute when we were heading back to the Harbour Bridge,
we'd done the intro.
Yeah,
we'd done the outro
and everything.
We were bags basically packed.
Yeah, we were just completely finished, and I was sitting down because I was just feeling like absolute shit just from being sick. And I just said, I'm like, why don't we just give the dowsing rods one last go up here?
I think we were disappointed that we didn't really get anything strong that night.
Yeah, and we had the EMF reader spike, so I was like, well, what's to lose? Why don't we just do it here? And we end up having one of the most intense dowsing sessions that we've ever had. It was perfect camera angle. Everything. It was the EMF reader was absolutely blowing up. Yeah, the rods were pointing to the EMF reader.
And the complexity of questions we started asking.
Yeah. And then when Rick goes, where are you sitting? And I had already moved the EMF reader, and it started blowing up right next to me. And it goes, it's right next to me. And you can see it absolutely exploding. And I'm just like, oh.
And as well with one of it, there's a question I ask, and I ask it to if it is what's making the EMF reader blow up. Yeah. And I ask it to point to the EMF reader. Now, the funny thing is with this, how does it know what the EMF reader is? Yeah. Because where the EMF reader was sitting originally, there's our camera bag. Brendan's got his wallet, the phone there. I've got my phone, wallet sitting there. We've got our bags spread out. We've got all our belongings, keys, all that stuff there. And the rods point exactly to the EMF reader. Yeah. It could have pointed to any of those objects, but it points directly to it. And then what Brendan said, when he moves the EMF reader, it goes directly to it again.
Yeah. And the EMF reader was just absolutely having an absolute fit. I don't think we've seen it go that nuts before. No. Yeah, no. It was as if I was holding the EMF reader inside the actual thing itself. It was just going crazy.
Well, and as well, the part where I put the rods down and stop, so does the EMF reader.
Yeah, it completely
and
stopped.
Then I put the rods back up again, and EMF reader starts again. Yeah. So I don't know. Go in the comments below and let us know if you have any more insight on it. But for us, we definitely thought that was a weird experience. But this session here definitely caught us off guard. And is definitely our hands down, I think, for me anyways, personally, the best
Well, I
Downhill
said for
session.
both of us because of the camera angles that I was able to get, what we were touching before, where how it's like something's holding it and moving it and then just stopping it. You see the rods just there where it goes to cross it, and it moves so quickly and then just abruptly stops.
Yep.
So, and as Rick was showing before, if he did that, the rod would continue going or it would swing back. It just stopped right there. It moved so quick and then stopped. It's as if something moved it and just stopped and held it there.
Yeah.
It was a really, really good session. This was a really, really cool place to go to, and definitely love to go back and especially revisit some of the locations that we went to, as well as go to some of the newer places there. And because Sydney is such a large place, the Rocks is such a large area, there's so many places to go to there. So I think we'll definitely probably revisit this area.
Exactly. But with that said, the Rocks, awesome place. There is a ghost tour there that has got really, really good reviews. One of our viewers has actually commented saying that he's done it multiple times and rates it very highly.
Yeah.
So, if you're maybe new to Sydney, or you're looking to, maybe don't have all the tools or anything like that, or you want to go do something where you feel a little bit safer, maybe, definitely give a try to the ghost tour. Check it out. But definitely check out the Rocks if you're in Sydney and you want to, experience something paranormal. Maybe you might see something that we didn't.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. With that said, on to the next video.
Cool. Elizabeth Tunnel's a bit of an interesting one for us. We had been there before while doing our Instagram photography kind of stint before. We had been to this location before, so we knew where it was. It is a really fascinating and interesting place. It has changed a lot now, obviously due to vandalism and people doing fireworks and letting off flares, smoke bombs, stuff like that inside the tunnels. They've had to fence it off. Now it is open. You're able to go in there. They just fence it off during certain times of the year for the glowworm population there to be able to.
When they do their reproductive, where they basically.
That's right. Yeah, like during mating season, stuff
mating
like that.
Season. That's it.
Yeah, so it has been fenced off, but there is a reason why it's been fenced off, and that's what we were touching on before. People just going to places, vandalizing, just doing stupid things.
Yeah.
Just you ruin it for everyone. So it would be when you go to these places, you definitely should respect it and just be careful. Helensburgh Tunnel is an interesting one. You need to be prepared because of all the people that actually went there. We were the only ones that came properly prepared with like gum boots, like proper boots. All that kind of stuff. Everyone, we had a group of people go there being where is it? And we point, and we look at all the shoes. They're wearing thongs and
we saw that one girl fall
sneakers.
in.
Yeah, she fell in because we were just standing out there waiting for them to come out because we
told
wanted to
them.
kind of have it clear. And we're like, there's a lot of mud. And I'm standing there watching her. I just see her get enveloped by the mud. I'm like, oh no.
She came back out when we were putting our gumboots on. Yeah, and she was like, have you got any tissues? And she was covered in mud.
So
and we were like, fuck, we told you.
Yeah, we said, be careful when you go in there. But yeah, it's an awesome place. Obviously it is a little bit different since the last time that we went there.
Yeah.
It's just a really cool place. A lot
as well, quickly on it is 50-50 going there. Yeah. Because if you I've seen videos where it's rained a lot and all the way up to the platform has got water.
Yeah.
And even the first time we went, there was way more water than this time.
Yeah.
This time, obviously, because there's been so many fires and it's been such a long drought in Australia, the water wasn't as bad, but still, it gets to a point there where you can't go any further.
The good thing about this, though, our intros, we got the intro a lot better for this, but our B-roll at the beginning, so usually when we do our videos...
this is by far one of our favourite B-rolls.
One of our best ones, because when we do our intro, we do a bit of B-roll, which is just a bit of a filler. It's cinematic stuff, so you guys can see the places that we've gone to. It's a bit of
a hobby of ours, so we love...
with our Instagram,
taking photos.
Yeah, with our Instagram, that's what we did a lot of. So it was our forte. And we got it a lot better with this one. And this one particular shot, I just got incredibly lucky with that transition.
This shot here, I love this shot. This is awesome. It was
the biggest fluke. I was like, this might be pretty cool.
The leaf was perfect.
Yeah, it ended up just being such a lucky shot. But yeah, we were very lucky coming here this time because it was even less water in there, so we were able to go in a bit further.
Yeah.
It was a weird one though because the lights that we saw ended up disappearing.
Yes. I think we'll touch on that now because we didn't really explain it, I think, that well in the video.
Yeah, because I think while I was talking to you, it may be on camera, it may not be, I can't remember, but I said, I see some lights up there.
Yeah.
I see
I don't know if I added the clips in.
I'm not too sure, but yeah, I point out, I'm like, I see some lights, and then the lights disappear again, and we were like, oh, well, there must be there's 3 groups up there kind of thing.
Well, we saw the group, so we were there for a while because we obviously wanted to wait till a lot of the groups left to do the filming there because, the group of ladies, tourists from, I guess China or somewhere, they were there and there was maybe 10 of them was a pretty big group.
Yeah, it's pretty group.
So, obviously we don't want to go in there filming when there's a lot of noise going on because, we obviously want to, see if we can capture something and again, it makes a better video if it's just us there. So we hung around for a while there and a bunch of groups came and there was, when we decided, fuck it, we're going in and we can't wait all day.
Yeah.
We put our boots on, got ready. There was the group of like Asian ladies, girls, about 10 of them. There was that group in front. There was those two guys that went in.
Yeah.
They were like in their Yeezys.
Oh, there was three of them.
Three of them, sorry.
Yeah. We were like, oh, you're kidding me. Like,
yeah, these guys came swagged out of their fucking mind. And
swagged out.
they had their Yeezys on, everything. We were like, damn, you're going to get them messed up.
Yeah, it's like, they get some money.
But they didn't care. They went in. And then there was a group in front of them. And we remember, clear as day saw them.
Yeah.
Flashlights, everything.
Yeah, they just walked in, like, they seemed like they were pretty set. Like,
yeah.
They knew what to expect kind of thing. So they went in, like, kind of knowing what was in
Yep.
there. But when we went in there, the large Asian group of girls and then the three guys came past us. And we went all the way to the end where the water can't go any further. You see me, I'm like, hey, it's about to go into my boots.
No way to be seen.
We didn't see anyone. We're like, where the hell did these people go?
But as well, we say it, like, we stopped, there's a scene, but we stopped. And because we got halfway in, the first group cross us, we ended up having a little chat to them. We like, because one of them like fell in, we like are having a little laugh, chatting. They leave, then the guys come, they go past us. And then I think we stopped at a point and I'm like, I said to Brendan, I'm like, where's the group in front of that group?
Yeah, I was like, shit.
And that's when we both realized, like, yeah, like there was another group. And honestly, as weird as it is, man, we didn't see anything.
Yeah, and
they couldn't have went further.
No, it's physically impossible to go any further.
Unless they were in like fucking overalls or something.
Unless they had scuba gear.
Yeah.
At that point, because we would have seen it because we had the lights. And then on top of that, there's no tunnels leading off from this. It's just a train tunnel that goes straight. There's no tunnels leading off, so they couldn't have gone anywhere. They should have been right in front of us, but we never came across them again.
Exactly. So that was really weird, and I guess after that we end up we go pretty much at the point where you can't go any further.
Yeah.
It's just, and it's hard. Like if you do want to go further, like it's very muddy at that point. It's like you don't know what you're stepping in. Sometimes you can step into a bit and you just sink.
Yeah, you can see right there. Like I'm in so deep. It's gone pretty much up to the top of my gum boots, and the boots go like about maybe a couple of inches below my knee. So it gets deep, and I wasn't even in that far. You start sinking. I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna lose my pants here.
So at this point, we head back and we wait for a bit. Another group does arrive. I think it was like a guy and a girl.
Yeah.
They weren't in there for that long. They only made it in about probably a quarter of the way.
Yeah. And
then they ended up heading off. But we do head back and we do a dowsing rod session. And again, this is a really good dowsing rod session because there's a lot of water nearby. And water as well, though dowsing rods were what they say first used to find water, we thought this would be a good test.
Yeah, we were curious ourselves, kind of thing.
Because we thought if there's a lot of water around, what if the dowsing rods act really weirdly?
Yeah, and I remember saying to you, hey man, like why don't you hold them straight first?
Yeah.
Get it on camera, we can put it in, just hold them there and see if it moves. Yeah, it doesn't move at all. But
they worked as they did over underneath the harbour bridge.
Yeah.
And
then when we go and start asking questions, it starts moving again. Well, like we couldn't understand how that worked. Kind of
and
thing.
As well, water is significant in, I guess, paranormal because they say it's a conductor for, I guess, energies.
Yeah.
So we actually had a pretty good session here. I, again, didn't have the strongest. I did get a lot of answers, but I then asked if it had a preference on who to speak to.
Well, this is the first time when we actually asked that.
Yeah. And actually, I think I asked in Tarvin Creek if I wanted to speak to you.
But maybe I don't think so. Actually.
Regardless, I do ask a question if it wants to speak to Brendan, and we'll skip to Brendan's session now. But Brendan's session was quite interesting.
Well, this one was the first time when I was doing it, and I completely my mind just had a complete blank. So when we go to do dowsing sessions, we usually have preset questions that we're going to ask. Just so it's a bit easier to film and it's just fluid. It just keeps going. The spirit doesn't lose interest.
It's kind of a purpose.
Yeah.
To ask,
this one, we had questions that we were going to ask, and my brain just all of a sudden just blanked out.
Yeah, we were both
I just kind of
like,
spaced out a bit.
dead.
Yeah.
Like we didn't know what to say.
Yeah, I just kind of spaced out. We just all, it's as if we forgot everything, and I was just like, "Shit, what the hell's going on?"
I don't think it wasn't until the point where I said, "Ask if it was the." Remember the gentleman that got killed in there?
Yeah. So we asked those, and then we start going on to a bit more like in-depth questions, and we were saying like, well, actually, I think in this one actually we said, "Were you the people that was showing the lights up there?"
It was,
and it said
yeah.
Yes, and we were like, "Oh, okay,
We
cool." You know,
first we asked if the gentleman that was murdered there, or murdered but killed there.
Yeah.
We asked if he's ever revealed himself to anyone, because some of the legend and rumor is that people have seen, you know,
him walking
him
down
walking.
and also hearing his boot footprints on the actual metal
the tracks.
tracks. Yeah, like walking down those.
So we asked if he's ever revealed himself. He answered yes. Then we asked if he was the, you know, figure or figures that we saw in front of us, and he responded to yes. So that maybe, I think, in season 1, in our experience, has probably been the closest we've came to seeing.
Well, yeah, that could be the very first time
To
we've
seeing
actually
a ghost.
seeing something like that. Yeah, and come to think of it, I was making me wonder, what the hell was he doing walking through here though? Like, I know he was coming back from work, but it's like a weird place.
Who
to be.
knows?
But yeah, it was a very interesting experience for us.
Really interesting.
Yeah, really, really cool place. Definitely recommend you guys going. Anyone can go. Just make sure that you're a bit prepared with it.
Yeah.
And again, just be very respectful. We went in with warm lights.
Yeah.
So the warm lights don't really harm the glowworms as long as you're not directly shining it on them. So we set it to a very warm setting, so it wouldn't harm them. A lot of people, when they're going with their bright LEDs, they're shining up at the up at the ceiling where the glowworms are. And
you can't even see them when you got the lights on anyway.
Yeah,
so
yeah, exactly.
It defeats the purpose for you.
It harms them as well. So just make sure your lights are down, or if you've got a warm light
Yeah.
as well. And it is a really fantastic place to go. Just be very careful walking in there and stuff like that. But
yeah,
it's a cool place.
Definitely. On to the next one.
On to the next one.
On to the next one. Alrighty. Morissette Asylum. Memorable one.
Very, very memorable.
Very memorable one. Maybe one of the most significant ones, explorations that we've done, and one of the most eye-opening ones that we've done in a different way.
Yeah.
Morissette was something very spur of the moment that we came across. It wasn't something that we really had planned to go and explore.
Yeah, it ended up being that you found this location because it wasn't any of the lists. Like, you know, when we did our research, we couldn't really find. I can't remember how you found it. But
No, I think I came across it on YouTube.
Yeah, and I saw it. I was like, that's awesome.
And yeah, we had a look, and it wasn't out of reach for us. It was about 2.5 hour drive, and from what I researched and saw of it, you could go in. There wasn't security. There wasn't any fences or anything sketchy to overcome. It was the only part really to overcome was the dirt track in. It was slightly off road, but again, it wasn't Yeah,
it wasn't anything crazy.
If you're a decent driver and kind of knew how to maneuver your way off road, then you'd be sweet to get in. But heading there was definitely our creepiest exploration by far.
Well, I remember we the moment we started kind of getting closer to it, we started really feeling uneasy.
Even driving, when we were about 40 minutes out, we were talking in the car, joking around, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then by the time we got to this dirt track
it got real.
and we're just like, oh my God. And that dirt track was difficult to film on because obviously as we're going, and I want to try and keep the camera as stable as possible, so I'm kind of trying to gyro it with my body. Yeah, that's it, gimbal.
You
I keep
fuck
saying gyro,
man.
Gyro, what? No. Yeah, I'm trying to gimbal it as I'm going to try and keep it as stable as possible. And as we're talking, I see it in the background. I'm like, fuck, there's the wall.
Yeah. We were both getting that uneasy feeling in our stomach.
Yeah.
Almost like when you have to go to something that you really don't want to go to.
Yeah.
It's kind of that feeling.
Well, actually, no, it wasn't about, because I touched on it a bit later as well, because we could be there. After the Tubman Creek one, we decided, look, whenever we go to a place, we do a lot of research making sure we're able to be there, because it's just annoying. It may ruin your video.
You don't want to drive and spend a whole day and then have fucking security stop us.
We did a massive amount of research on it. Turns out you can go here. Like, it's fine to go here.
It's all Aboriginal land.
It's all Aboriginal land. That's right. You're fine to go there. Obviously, you have to respect the place, but it's fine to go there. It was cool.
Or what's left of the place.
That's right, yeah. But while we were there, and I mentioned in the video, even though we are allowed to be here, it's fine being here, I felt like I shouldn't be here.
Yeah. Obviously, the part one, now this was the first video we ever split in 2 parts. just because it was an hour and 6 minutes
Massive
long.
amount of footage that we had there.
Yeah, we, you know, as well, we thought like, you know, hour and 6 minutes, we want people to be able to watch the video, and might be a bit hefty an hour and 6 minutes, so we did decide to split.
Yeah.
But being there during the day obviously wasn't as bad, but this was the first video where we pushed ourselves to, you know, to do something a little bit different.
Yeah, to push ourselves to new limits.
We wanted to be here overnight. As you guys, you know, did see in the video, we didn't quite make it overnight. We made it to just before 3 a.m.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was the first one that we bailed from. We did have some people saying like you shouldn't run, but look, at that time it was.
This was new to us.
Yeah,
and this is new to us.
And on top of that, this was the first time where we actually felt
unsafe.
Yeah, not even unsafe, but actually in danger, which is why we left. And when we heard footprints, we didn't know if it was a person coming near us. We didn't
touch
know
on
if
that
it
when
was.
We get to the.
Yeah, so it was a very terrifying place.
Yeah,
it was absolutely terrifying.
So as you guys can see, we drive in, we get to our spot, we do a bit of drone footage, and I really like this B-roll too.
Some of the most beautiful scenic B-roll that we've done so far.
Yeah, this was one of our most cinematic, I think, B-rolls that we've done. And we go in, we explore around, we walk around all the premises, we run into some locals. The two gentlemen that we run into, they gave us the best. And I mean, where they put like, you know, 10, 15 minutes in, after we cut that clip, we ended up talking to them for another almost 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And geez, they told us some freaky stories.
Yeah, but they're really cool dudes. And
super cool guys.
And one of the guys there, his family is saying that they worked there during the time as well. So he had first-hand experience, kind of like, knew all about it.
And he said they'd been going there since they were like 13, 14 years old.
Yeah, like as kids and stuff like that, and just talking about some of the experiences that they had while being there. And then on top of that, while that was happening with the spot that we were at,
that was creepy.
You kept saying
there was the hole in the wall there, and we kick ourselves for not going in there. We are going to go back to Morrisett Asylum. We have unfinished business.
Yeah.
But that hole in the wall there, we were both, I mean, shit. Like, when we were talking to the gentleman, I was trying to film him, you know, look at the camera and talk to him. And in the corner of my eye, I swear, I just kept seeing, like, something duck in and out of the wall, like a white sort of glow.
Yeah.
It was so weird there.
And then at the same time, I had breathing down my neck, and then something kept grabbing my arm, kind of like pulling me towards that hole. And what the fuck is that? Kind of thing. Like, you know, it was a really creepy spot, that hole.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely did kick ourselves for not going down there. But
we are going to.
There were reasons why we didn't, but we're definitely going to come back. We have unfinished business. We need to get even with this place, so we'll definitely be going back and hopefully this time actually surviving the whole night there.
So as we kind of progress through the night, we hang out for a fair while in the car, just sort of chatting and waiting for it to go darker.
Which, by the way, we will just point out quickly as well, because I have people have said to me, they're like, why do you sit in the car? Why do you feel safe in the car? You know, you're like, that doesn't stop anything. Like, you can still get in there. It was more so just a self-comfort thing.
It's a boundary. It's a barrier.
Just mentally we felt a little bit safer there, even though it can still phase, something could still phase through and get us or whatever, or get into the car.
And as well, I mean,
to us, we just felt safe. Like, we were locking the doors as well. It's not going to stop anything, but to us, it was just a mental thing for us, and we just felt a bit more comfortable being inside the car.
And as well, you know what? Like, you know, pedal to the metal is a lot quicker than my legs. So
that's right, yeah.
If we're going to get the fuck out of there, you know, I'm putting the foot down, and I mean, that's going to get us out there faster than me running. So I'll probably puff out before we run out of fuel. So, I mean, it was an escape route for us. But
100%.
We hung out for a fair while, and in that time, hearing noises, seeing our minds were as well just... Man,
it was just
we're on edge.
Yeah, and it kept getting worse as time kept going on. You know, we were sitting around like a few times because we wanted to conserve the batteries that we had as well, because obviously we ran out of drone batteries. The GoPros were starting to go on the fritz and stuff like that. Yeah. So we were running out of batteries, and we were trying to conserve the power as much as possible.
Yeah.
And you know, we were sitting around for a couple of hours, just kind of waiting as time went on. We wanted to go in when it was really, really dark, you know, all that kind of stuff.
A lot of the footage is quite boring too. I mean, like...
Yeah, we didn't want to just record us just sitting around, just...
sitting there.
Talking about nothing kind of thing.
We try to keep the videos pretty interesting, so...
That's right, yeah. So we end up waiting till about I think it's about midnight when we start.
Yeah, I think it's about midnight when we
start going back again, and
or a little bit after, maybe closer to 1. I can't remember.
Yeah, and that first dowsing session we had was really good, and it was kind of pointing us in the direction that we're going. And again, like I was touching on before, we did have some people saying like, "Oh, you shouldn't ask so many complicated questions," but they are still relatively simple. It's a matter of moving the rod in my right hand to my right, leaving the left one where it is. And we like asking those complicated questions just because it shows for you guys who are watching it that we're not faking it. You know, we like to make sure that they are relatively complicated questions.
And I think in our experience, we've never had the issue where they can't answer
That's
complicated
right.
questions.
Yeah, so to be honest, from what we've seen, complicated questions are a good way to go, and we'll probably continue doing those complicated questions just because it's good. It translates really well.
Yeah.
Obviously, that first dowsing session was really good, and we end up. It was saying it was over towards that other building where we were talking to those guys. So
in the first dowsing session too, I don't mention it on camera. I think I briefly touch on it, but not really. But when I was filming, I've got the camera basically sitting like this, and I didn't say anything because it was so faint, and I didn't know if it was my mind playing tricks on me. But like I felt this touch on my arm. And I was trying not to like freak out when I was filming because I was like, did I just imagine it or did something really happen? And it wasn't until the second dowsing rod where it just was confirmed that what I felt was.
And on top of that, during that first dowsing session, when I was asking, you can actually see here, the EMF radar starts spiking as the rods start moving. So the EMF radar straight away
spike all day.
Didn't go at all. It was sitting in my pocket.
Yeah.
Green, and we emptied our pockets completely. I emptied my pockets completely.
No phones, nothing.
I just had the EMF radar sitting in my pocket. I asked a question, rods start moving, and the EMF just spikes and goes all the way to red as well.
Yeah.
So I mean that kind of lends credence to the EMF radar being quite genuine in that regards. It is very hit and miss. We are also very cautious with that, but
all day we didn't really get any strong readings on the EMF radar.
I mean we got it. We got a strong reading in one spot, which is where we went and did the second
dowsing session.
So when you see in the B-roll where the EMF radar hits there, we actually go around there and do the next dowsing session.
That's where I jump and kind of suck it.
That was the nut. Well, no, because that's when I got grabbed by my arm, where you can see in camera my arm start moving a bit.
Let's skip to that scene and show them. Yeah.
Yes. So my arm moves a bit in this one. You can actually see my arm move a bit.
So this is like we're kind of tracking in the direction that the rods are asking us to go.
Yeah.
We're trying to pinpoint closer and closer to where I think we both deep down knew where it wanted us to go.
Yeah, and we were just hoping it wasn't going there because it was this was the very first time right there you see me get touched, and it's like something just kind of grabbed me from here and did like that,
exactly,
like, as if someone was trying to pull me in this direction, and then you got touched. You said from behind, something touched you from behind. In the like almost exact spot, like and it was so clear. It was. Yeah, it wasn't like a gust of wind. It wasn't like my clothing moving. It literally felt like a boom. And at that point, I freaked out. There was no wind there, and it wasn't like a bug landing. You know the difference between a bug landing and a hand.
And because as well, I felt it earlier, but like I said, I just in my mind, I kind of wanted to ignore it. Yeah. I was like, it was nothing. It was just my mind playing tricks. But the second time, I was like, no, that's something.
And that's where we started to get really nervous, like we mentioned before. People were saying, "Oh, you shouldn't leave places like that." But when you're in that situation, and when you're actually
so
feeling
far from home,
and not just that, but also being touched or something reaching out and actually physically touching you, it's a completely different experience.
Terrifying.
From just doing dowsing rods. You have to really put yourself in those shoes to be able to understand where we were mentally and at the time as well. Again, how I say, sometimes I feel like we're being watched. Sometimes I actually felt like something was with us. It wasn't friendly. I felt like we were in danger. Like something was wrong.
We're 2.5 hours away from our local area. We're in the middle of the bush in a completely unknown region that we have no safety net. We don't know where to go. We don't know what to do in case of an emergency. We're completely out of our comfort zone. And having what happened to us, I think we go back to the car for a bit and we just sit on it for a while. And
just trying to decide.
We really start talking about, like, what do we want to do here?
Yeah, because at the time we were about 50-50 on the Ouija board.
because
at that time,
we thought, you know,
there you go, 2 o'clock, about
Yeah.
2 o'clock is when
we thought, hey, like, we're in a pretty fucked up area, we're in a
Yeah.
pretty fucked up spot. Maybe the Ouija board will work for us tonight, but we both agreed that it was beyond, like, you know, we just didn't feel like we were safe to do it.
Yeah.
Even if we don't completely believe in the Ouija board, it was just, you know, I don't think we were, and we say it as well, mentally prepared to do the Ouija board, and we were just both freaking out. And again, looking back on the night, yes, we both 100% kick ourselves for leaving, but in a weird way, it's given us a confidence to, I mean, stay on.
It's a learning curve because it's
a learning curve.
It's a little chip on our shoulder now to be like, look, we need to stay. We need to do these things. We need to push ourselves, which you see in the next episode that we do.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was it was just the feelings that we had there was just.
Yeah. So Morrison Asylum definitely. Well, I guess let's quickly touch on the footsteps at the end when we do bail because we haven't talked about that. So
we moved the car first because we're like, look, we're
closer to the
starting
exit.
to feel really, really uncomfortable here. So we moved the car basically so it's lined up with the exit so we can get in, like Ricky mentioned. Car's a lot quicker. It's got more gas. We're going further kind of thing. So we had it ready to go. And obviously we get out and we do a dowsing session.
We're not going to do the dumb white
car.
girl, you know, in the horror movie, run through the woods at the middle of the night. If something goes wrong, trip on a branch and die. I mean, we got the car ready. The car ain't going to flip.
Get out. And we do the dowsing rods right next to the car because we're like, it's just being as close to the car as possible.
Yeah.
And then just my inner curiosity, I'm just like, last one more time where it is. And it's still pointing. So I'm like, all right, come on. We just got to go do it. We got to go have a look. So we go around and into one of the cells. And then as we walk in, because the whole place echoes, so, you know, if Rick would talk, it would sound like it was coming from behind me, even though it was right in front of me. And as I was walking in, I thought I heard Rick say my name.
I didn't say nothing.
And it sounded like it came from through that door. And I'm like, did you say my name?
Yeah.
And it sounded like someone just said Brendan. Like, it just sounded clear as hell. But you said you didn't hear anything. The camera didn't hear anything. But I heard my name clear as hell. So I'm like,
what the hell's going on?
Tripping out hard. And then, we're standing back to back against the wall. We're doing the dowsing session there. You know, my hand starts getting moved that time. So somebody's actually grabbing me by my wrist.
We're freaking out at this point.
Yeah, and then the footsteps. That was... Yeah, I mean...
Clear as day. It does not show on the camera. But literally, like, not even the sound on grass. It was like on wood.
Well, I was going to say it sounded like it was more on
For me, it sounded like solid.
To me, but to me it sounded like it was on the areas that we were, like, basically just outside the cell.
Well, that's where it sounded like. It sounded like it was coming from outside the cell.
From the noise, it sounded like it was only a few meters away.
Approaching us.
That's why I poked my head out, because I'm like, they're right there. Like, I look and I see nothing.
And as well, what those two other guys touched on that we spoke to earlier in the day, even they mentioned upon hearing footsteps and things there too.
Yeah, and you can tell the difference between the footsteps of a person and like an animal. And
like they say,
Yeah, this was clear as day footsteps. And with who the people were that were staying here, the feelings that we were getting, the things that were happening, it's completely understandable that
everyone that we spoke to there during the day said that it's pretty sketchy.
Yeah, because we were like saying to some people, we're staying till like you know, we're gonna stay for a while. And they were like, we'd not be here at night time kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, if it was a person there playing a prank on us, we would have seen them because the footsteps were like a few meters away. We poke our head out, I have a light, you would have seen it.
Yeah.
So
you don't know. I mean, you don't know what you're gonna run into. You don't know if you're gonna run into some psychopath or you're gonna run into a spirit or a demon.
Right,
Fuck, you have no idea. But yeah, when we heard the footsteps, that was, I think, for us, like, let's just get to the car. Let's be in our little safety bubble, because if we need to get out of here, we can.
Yeah.
And if something's going to attack us or whatever, we didn't know what was going on. We're at least safe in the car or somewhat. So
we just felt something.
When we were in there, we just made the call. We said, let's just get the hell out of here.
Yeah, just pull the plug.
And I think it'll be something that sticks with us for a very, very long time.
Yeah, but it's a learning curve, and it's just something that just holds to it. Every time we go,
Yeah.
we're shitting ourselves and decide to leave, we go, nah. You remember
Let's
Morris
push it a bit further.
We're staying here. It's just going to be our code word. Just Morris it. All
Yeah.
right, fuck yeah, all right, we'll stay.
Well, Morrison Asylum, done and dusted for now. But yeah, we're
For
definitely
now.
going to be back.
Definitely going to go back.
On to the next episode.
On to the next one.
The season finale. All
Alright, so Jenny Dixon Beach, the Norhead Cemetery, and Wolfert Barrett Drive. That was a bit of an interesting one. It was a 3-in-1, this one. And it was the first time that we really kind of split up as well.
Pushed ourselves out of our comfort zone.
Yeah, I mean, coming after the Morrisett one, we kind of went in with a bit of a chip on our shoulder, being like, we shouldn't have bailed. So we wanted to do something a bit different, something a bit, completely
more
different.
challenging.
Something completely different that we did. It is very challenging. It's very unnerving being by yourself as well, because I mentioned in the video as well. Usually you have you on that side being
that comfort zone of having us together.
Yeah. So it was a bit different. It also created new challenges as well with the audio.
Yeah.
With the waves and the wind and stuff like that.
So also with splitting up as well, quickly to mention it. We also did decide it because it is something where we thought maybe might get a stronger reaction on our own.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that have been, said before and even mentioned to us before. For example, we've touched on the Wacos Parkway, where one of the comments was that the spirit or the ghost only appears when you're on your own.
Yeah.
So that was another big factor into splitting up to see, hey, like what happens if we do, split? Maybe, we'll get a stronger reaction or not. And yeah, I mean, it was definitely an interesting experience.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely threw us out of our comfort zone, but I'm very happy we did it.
Yeah, it was really pretty. It was awesome doing that. Was very uncomfortable though, being by myself down in the beach. Though, I mean, like,
would have been.
I definitely drew the short straw on that one. Like the
I had the safety of the car at least.
Yeah, the beach was really uncomfortable because I basically had nowhere. Like I had to run
through the spiders.
Yeah, and it was really creepy just being down at the beach. Just very different feeling. Like I mentioned before, being by myself is very creepy because I couldn't see behind myself, and on top of that, I kept hearing the footprints of someone walking on the sand.
Yeah,
and then on top of that, just to the left, behind the camera, I kept thinking
this was when I left.
Yeah, so after you left, I kept thinking I was seeing someone there. I kept having to walk out of frame and kind of have a look to see what's there.
Yeah.
So it was making me really. It was tripping me out heaps because I'm just like, I swear I keep seeing a person, but then when I look, it's gone again. So. Yeah,
and as well, I think as we mentioned before, the struggles of filming at the beach, the waves were so loud. And,
they were really, really
and
loud.
I'll include a clip of the raw footage versus the edited footage because I tried to save the audio as much as I could and just reduce that background noise. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the things that you were hearing, again, is so hard to hear. You can't even really hear anything on camera. So yeah, I mean, you definitely had the creepier part of the night.
Yeah.
Than what I did on the road. But I mean, in saying that, look, Wolfert Barrett Drive, I think it's definitely the more reported on section of that area specifically. Even though there are 3 locations which we mentioned that do have all our paranormal activity, Wolfert Barrett Drive seems to be the more popular one. And though nothing happened, I will say I do believe it's more of a more or less right time at the right place sort of thing with.
Well, you say nothing about the dowsing rod thing, the whole dowsing rod thing with the bouncing, like you're jumping off the back seat.
The dowsing rods at the start, I do mention it. They kind of flew off the back seat as I started driving out of the beach. I don't know if I maybe put them on the back seat, crooked or wonky or something. So I'm not too sure, but it definitely was weird that I was driving forward, and you'd think, I guess the gravity would be pushing things backwards, but they fell forward. But again, I mean, that was the only really weird thing. And apart from that, my dowsing rod session, what I did speculate with Brendan on later was they did opposite movements to what I asked. And the way I said it to Brendan was, imagine if you were sitting in front of me, my left would be your right. So when I was asking it to move to the right, it was moving to the left. But if it was something moving it from in front of me, it could have been very well moving it to its right.
Yeah, and it's just because it's never happened to us. That's why we didn't think of it at the time. But
exactly.
When you think about it, that is, some people would confuse that. And these are the spirits that we're communing with used to be people. It could have just been confused as to that. I'm not sure.
So it very well could have been that. But again, Wolfert Barrett Drive, I would say nothing out of the ordinary happened. But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna sort of debunk all the rest of the stories and what's happened to people. It's a road with rich history, and who knows, you might go there and experience something completely different to what I did.
Yeah.
But after that, I decided to call Brendan. I was gone for a fair while, a lot longer than I anticipated on. After calling Brendan, he mentioned to me that you had a really strong dowsing rod session.
Yeah, well, I mean, like it felt like a lot longer. You were going a lot longer than it actually was in reality. And obviously, I tried the spirit box for the first, with the waves and all that kind of stuff.
The environment wasn't really.
Yeah, who knows? The EMF reader was spiking in certain spots, but the dowsing rod was the biggest one that was happening with that. And I was trying to ask very complicated questions, asking like to move specific rods rather than moving both of them. And throughout the entire time I was doing it, you see in the video, I keep thinking that I'm seeing something over there. And then when I ask where its location was, well, that's the thing. It was very reluctant, and then I kept having to say, "Look, I don't mean you any harm." And eventually, it did point, but it pointed to where I kept looking, and I'm like,
what I find crazy is that the spirit that you contacted said it was the spirit that haunts that beach.
Yeah,
it was the spirit of legend that goes in that area. That's the lady that searches for a lost child. So I thought that was pretty creepy. Like it specifically said yes, like I am that fucking spirit.
Yeah.
So that was pretty powerful. I thought that was pretty creepy.
Yeah, but yeah, when you called, I was so happy.
Yeah.
Because I thought you were straight up at the top of the stairs, and I was like, I just want to get out of here. And you were like, oh, do you want me to meet you up there or like wherever? I'm like, yeah, I'm coming straight up. Because like I just kept hearing things, I kept saying things. I'm like, I just want to. I want to get away from the beach. Maybe come back with you if you wanted to come down. Whatever. I had a really good session. It was a really good session.
Yeah. I think it was something we can both tick off as well to say that tried this stuff on our own.
That's right.
It prepares us for.
And we held our ground too as well. We didn't run. We had a really good session down there. Although she did say that she wasn't overly friendly, so I was like, I'm just gonna move out of here. But yeah,
maybe another visit there in the future. I think a lot of these places you want to revisit. But
yeah, they're interesting places to go to. But yeah, obviously I came back up to you and had to talk to you about what happened down there and.
Takes us on to the next part of the night.
Yeah, which was the cemetery, the Norhead Cemetery, which is an absolutely fantastic place. A lot of history involved there. Some of the graves there, very, very old. From
unmarked as well.
Yeah, some unmarked ones. And unfortunately, we were looking around trying to find these unmarked graves, and we just couldn't find them.
Before we get to the unmarked graves, the story of it, just we'll quickly touch on, just so everyone knows. The rumor has it that I don't know whether it's the girl or that it's the actual lady from the beach. I'm not.
I think it was the lady.
The notes are kind of scrambled. I believe it's the lady from the beach that was looking for her son. I believe her body is buried there in an unmarked grave, and rumor has it is that if you are to find the grave and disturb it, then she would come disturb you.
Yeah,
which is. Pretty creepy. I mean,
just that in itself alone was creepy. So we went out to disturb the grave. Obviously, we don't. We respect these.
In a way to disturb it, but more to less investigate it.
Yeah, we just wanted to find it, kind of thing. Yeah, and obviously while we were finding it, you see it in the video. We were unable to find it at first. We were able to
walked a lot of it.
Yeah, pretty much the whole thing almost. And we were talking with something with the dowsing rods. It was pointing us in like a direction, and I was just kind of getting this feeling that it was pointing us away. Like it was like
it was opposite.
Like it didn't want us to find its grave.
Completely opposite from it.
And our battery was running very, very low on the camera at that point. It was our last battery. And as we were walking out, we noticed a sign going historic, pointing in another direction. So we're like, oh, well, let's go have a quick look. And then as we were walking, we find all the unmarked graves. But as we found the unmarked graves...
this was creepy.
There was this massive wind just hit us.
You'll hear it in the video.
Yeah, and it
was
just
strong.
Keeps hammering us. It wouldn't ease up. And the wind was really, really strong. And it would only happen when we found the graves.
And it is strange because the rumor says it will disturb you. And I mean, if you think of it in context, disturb us, well, disturbing us would have been disturbing our filming.
Yeah.
And it was unbearable to film. And I mean, we heard things chink and crash. And the first ones were like right behind us. And we were pretty freaked out, but you see in the video, we were determined to find out what they were.
We were trying to figure out what everything was. But yeah, just the fact that the wind, that along with us finding it, the timing for it was just, I don't know if it was a coincidence.
Because it went from no wind at all, dead still night, to massive, massive wind.
Yeah, and unfortunately we couldn't do a dowsing session there, obviously because the rods would have just gone absolutely crazy. We couldn't do a Ouija board, EMF rate,
you just couldn't film.
Yeah, we just couldn't film because it was just you wouldn't have got anything on camera. So we didn't bail, we just ended up leaving because it was
pointless.
It was
Yeah.
unfilmable. We couldn't film.
There was no audio you would have got from it. The wind noise was that bad. Like Brendan said, any of our stuff apart from maybe the EMF reader, which wouldn't have been that interesting anyways.
Yeah.
You couldn't do anything.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So we decided to call it quits on the night, and we'd been in the cemetery already like 20, 25 minutes probably at that point.
Oh, probably. To be honest, I reckon that's for 45 minutes. Because
Maybe
we were
longer,
out very, very late that night.
Yeah.
That was probably the latest night of filming that we've done.
Yeah, because I got back to my place like almost 6 in the morning.
Yeah, like
5:45,
really,
5:30.
really late filming session.
So I guess Jenny Dixon Beach as well was kind of spur of the moment. It was recommended to us by two locals that we spoke to at Morisset.
Yeah.
Two groups that we ran into both suggested Jenny Dixon Beach, and the two gentlemen that we spoke to both claimed that they had friends that had really strong reportings there, and even friends that they said had seen the spirit in the backseat of their car.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was a bit of a spur of the moment thing, but it was a very cool video. We think, and we had a strong reaction there and a strong presence, whatever.
Yeah, it was a very powerful, very, very, very strong session there.
Just the end of the night was strange.
Yeah, it was a very, very strange ending, but it was an incredible experience though.
Jenny Dixon Beach ticked off.
Yeah. And
that was the season finale of Haunted. So, again, we hope you guys did enjoy the season. We hope you had fun watching it. We do have a season 2 planned. So for everyone wondering what the future for ETFW is, I guess it's where we can touch on now. There is plans for a season 2, 3, 4, 5. We want to do this as long as we can.
Yeah, we want to keep going. We have some pretty interesting special places to go to that we've been teeing up during the off season.
Yeah, episode 1's going to be a very cool video.
Well, yeah, hoping it will be. It should be pretty good. There's a few locations on our radar. The places that we're going to are what we're planning on going to is places where you can't go to in the general population. So coordinating with either councils or people who own the properties to be able to go there.
We want to go bigger and better.
Yeah, this season will be a much bigger season, a lot more overnights, a lot more challenges. Possibly getting more equipment, that kind of stuff. It should be pretty interesting.
Season 2 will resume in most likely about 4 to 6 weeks after watching this video. So we'll obviously keep you guys posted upon the arrival of season 2, and we'll let you know when the dates get a little bit closer. But in the meantime, we have a really cool project we're excited to be working on, and it's going to be called the Library.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
cool name for it.
Library, the idea kind of spawned between us both, where we wanted to create a podcast style documentary web series kind of.
Yeah, kind of like a platform where you can go to for your information.
Exactly. And not just information for you guys watching, but information for us. We are quite new to the whole paranormal world and everything, so I guess we want to arm ourselves with knowledge and information before going back out in season 2. I think a lot of what we discovered and learned in season 1 was by stumbling through it.
Yeah.
By people commenting, telling us in the comments or reaching out to us via Messenger or, Twitter and et cetera, et cetera. But I think for season 2, we want to be ready. We want to have a lot more information. We want to be armed to be able to deal with anything that comes our way.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, the library should be very interesting. Just kind of touching on pieces of information, just either throughout history, maybe people or scenarios, things that have happened in the past, or that are unfolding right now, and we will explore those into more detail and breaking them down a bit. Exactly.
So I guess with that said, guys, for anyone that did stick around to the end, thank you very much. It is going to be a hefty video. But if you did stay, make sure you guys leave drop a comment below. Let us know what you thought of the video. We can't wait to drop the first episode of the library. And again, just thank you to everyone who stuck with us during season 1. And man, what an awesome journey, and can't wait for season 2 to start.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Well, that said, guys, have a good night. Enjoy. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you're new. And I guess we'll see you in the first episode of the library.
Yeah, see you in a bit.
See you guys.